It's your man. I'm never on schedule, but always on time. And my man Bart Shankles. What's up, Bart?
What's up?
Nothing, man. You ready to do this thing?
Yeah, let's do another one, man.
All right. Well, like I said, dude. I'm gonna get to the Kushner conspiracy for all you right-wing conspiracy theorists. I got a conspiracy theory for you. I'm gonna drop that at the end. But all you folks want to get on this conspiracy bandwagon, I got one for you. But me and Bart, we're going to talk about the thing nobody ever wants to talk about, and that's religion and how religion poisons the political system in any country. You know what I mean? Am I right, Bart? You can look. That's what I don't get when people want to put religion or make laws based on religion. They don't. All they got to do is look to Iran or one of these countries with Sharia law, because that's exactly what they do.
And well, no, actually, the best one to look at is Saudi Arabia.
Right.
You know, ironically, one of our best allies.
Yeah, dude, I've never understood that, because people don't realize that
it's the petrodollar, man.
Right. Well, I understand that part of it. People don't realize that the majority of just about all these extreme terrorists, jihadists, they're all believing this branch of Islam called Wahhabism, and Wahhabism was invented by the Saudi Arabians, and they push it around the world, and they teach it in all these madrasas, and they fund all these terrorists, but yet we're still buddies with them, even though 15 of the 9/11 terrorists were Saudi Arabian, and Donald Trump talked all that smack about, what was it, extreme, or was it extreme Islamist and all that shit. He got over to Saudi Arabia and didn't mention it one time, you know what I mean? He was over there polishing... He was over there polishing knobs.
He was over there doing the Saruman and Gandalf with the hand on the globe.
Yeah, dude. Was that not evil looking as shit, dude? That looked like something from...
That's weird.
Dude, that is weird. Why would they...
How the Christians can do that. That's like some magic stuff or something.
Right, dude. That's what I don't understand. First of all, what the hell do they have a glowing orb for? And secondly, why would you put your hand on it? You know what I mean? What was the point of that? Who does that?
Yeah.
Who does that, dude?
That's strange, you know, and the Saudis have the dresses on, you know, and Trump's sitting there with his little suit on and looking like he's clue. You know what, too bad, like his hair didn't stand up, you know, like at those little science museums, you put your hand on the globe and it makes it go to static electricity.
Yeah, one of the Tesla coils, like a Tesla coil.
That's
dude, it was just weird. It was odd, kind of creepy looking. They turned the lights out. It looked like something from a villain in a James Bond movie to me, dude. It was extremely weird. You am I right?
Oh man, yeah.
I don't know how any sane person can look at that and say that's weird as shit. You know what I mean? Christian or not.
I didn't hear what the right's response was to that.
I didn't hear nothing. Crickets. Right. All the thing I've heard from them is crickets. Man, I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. That was just downright creepy and weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anybody should call that shit out, man. It was just weird. But like I said, we're going to... If you didn't know, I'm agnostic. I'm rare. Bart's the rarest unicorn in the state of Arkansas because he is an atheist. And he gives me shit all the time for not going full-blown atheist. I get more shit from...
Let's see, man. I mean, I'm an agnostic atheist.
Right.
I don't say I know for sure there are no gods.
Well, good. I'm glad you cleared that up. Because that's what I believe.
You know, as far as when it comes to especially like the biblical gods, which, you know, would include all the Abrahamic religions because they all refer to the Bible.
Right.
And use the Bible.
Including Islam.
That God, yeah, exactly. In the Jewish faith.
Right.
The Old Testament. That God does not. There may be, I don't know, I haven't really, you know, the Hindu gods, I don't know, they got millions, so, I mean, I don't know, but that God doesn't exist.
Well, see, I'm the same way, man. I try to keep an open mind. I say anything's possible, but I'm not, you know what I mean? So I don't want to, first of all, I'm not that militant about it because I try not to be militant about any religion because it seems like a lot of evangelical conservatives are militant enough for everybody. But, you know what I mean? I try to keep an open mind.
What happens when they start messing with our schools and our politics? Then, man, you got to get militant. If not,
right.
you're like these little squishy liberal Democrats that you know that are okay with the whole religion thing, and they don't speak out against like all that kind of stuff. You know, like
right, and even Christian Democrats.
Don't believe in like
Right, and the climate change, and see, that's where it gets dangerous. Is I got the argument, and you saw it on Facebook. Well, I got in the debate where people use the Bible and Christianity to dismiss climate change, and that's where it becomes dangerous because it threatens the survivability of the whole planet. You know what I mean? And that's where it really gets dangerous. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this is, they have some of the other stuff, but this is like where it's serious stuff.
Right.
You got like the one Congress dude. Remember he came in with a snowball during the winter.
Yeah, I saw that idiot.
I mean, he's one of those ones that says that God will take care of it. The climate's been changing, and what was that? I saw there one comment that said about it was the coolest spring in 1910.
Right, I googled that shit, by the way. Right, I googled that, by the way, and found nothing about that. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, and so what? If it's one little instance in 1910, when like what's the past like 8 years been the warmest on record?
Yeah. Well, see, that's part of it too.
Each year we're setting a record every year.
Right, and well, that's part of it too, Bart. Is that a lot of them dismiss climate change at the gate because they've been told by these right-wing pundits and talking heads, so they really don't even know what climate change is because they've never even went far enough to even study it or look at the facts.
Yeah.
So they dismiss it. Right, and they confuse the weather with climate, and climate and the weather is not the same thing, and they don't understand that. They don't understand that.
Meteorologists aren't trained in the climate either.
Right.
Meteorologists are trained in the weather. Climatologists.
Even though most of them will tell you.
I don't know if I just made that one up, but.
No, you're right.
Yeah, there's a specific study of the actual climate.
Right, but the Weather Channel and most meteorologists agree that climate change is real and it's man-made, and that's what blows my mind is the fact that it's the shit they taught you in 4th grade, man, about the greenhouse effect. If you emit a bunch of CO2 and it gets trapped in the atmosphere, it's going to heat the planet up. It's not that hard to understand. You know what I mean? But these folks.
Yeah, right. Remember when they then why did they like ban? Remember they banned like the aerosol, like the hairspray?
Right. The styrofoam cups.
Okay, and people could put 2 and 2 together. Why were those banned?
Right.
Well, maybe because they were having they're having an effect.
Right.
It seems like it's so simple, but yet
Right. They make it so hard.
It's all about that black gold.
Right.
So,
and they're and that's just like when you hear them talk about clean coal, man. There's no such thing as clean coal. That's a myth. Yeah. And this is what they don't understand. Look, we have a chance here. First of all, there's more green energy, more solar jobs than natural gas jobs, coal jobs, and oil jobs combined. And it's the fastest growing job sector in the United States. And right now, China is supposed to drop $360 billion into renewable energy. And they're supposed to get the lead on us, and we might not ever catch up if we don't get down with them. You know what I mean? And that's what people don't understand. It's the future. Coal is Charles Dickens shit in the past, dude. It's over with. It's done. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
And Trump got up there and lied.
China has a lot of money, extra money, but compared to us, because you know what? I haven't heard of them being in a war lately.
No, and they don't blow all their money on defense spending like we do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's it's another Trump line, man.
They got enough, and also they got millions of soldiers too. So,
right, they can throw rocks at us. They can line up and throw rocks at us, and we'd have problems. There's so many Chinese.
But yeah, on the solar, I mean, and of course we can have old Ronnie Reagan to thank for that, because remember old Jimmy Carter had solar panels put on the White House.
Right, and Reagan took them down.
And Reagan came in and ripped them down, and went back to the old dirty oil.
Right, and
think where it would be. I mean,
well, it's just a common sense thing, man. It creates. First of all, it's the future. It's the way to go. It's the future, and man, it creates more jobs than coal. And the fact that it's renewable energy, it's the smart thing to do, man. It's such a common sense move. And here's the argument I try to make that makes no sense to me. Let's say all the mountains of evidence and the 97% of climate scientists who say it exists are wrong. Shouldn't we err on the side of caution because it means the destruction of the planet, just in case? Shouldn't we be better safe than sorry?
You know what? 95% can't. They can be wrong, but I mean that's.
Highly unlikely.
That's called a massive consensus. That's like almost,
right.
That's pretty much
a consensus, right?
With that much consensus, because only ones when you break down the 5% that's not.
They're all paid.
Work for the oil company,
right?
And the other 2% are just crazy.
Right, and like you said, the 5% are all shields for the oil company or the coal companies. But the argument I try to make is, if you went to 100 doctors and 95 doctors told you had a tumor or some type of disease that's going to kill you, and 5 of them say you don't, are you going to believe the 5 that say you don't or the 95 that say you do? It's such a common sense move. You know what I mean? It blows my mind,
exactly,
dude.
Yeah. 9 out of 10 doctors recommend it.
Right. Or 9 out of 10 dentists. How are you going to deny it? You know what I mean? It just blows my mind. Well, there's a great documentary. I don't know if you've seen it, and I'll try to get everybody to watch it. It's called Before the Flood, and Leonardo DiCaprio paid for it, and he narrates it. But it actually shows the physical evidence that you can actually see of us destroying the planet. And you know what I mean? It's undeniable. It's physical proof you can actually see with your own eyes. You know what I mean? It's not words on paper. And anybody who doubts it, go watch that documentary. And if you doubt it after watching the documentary, you're lying to yourself. And you know what I mean? But But like I said, we'll get on, because that's what blows my mind is, and that all falls into the religion deal, man. People use religion to dismiss climate change, but then they turn around and use religion to try to dictate the laws in this country. And it's not a good thing, man, because not everybody's Christian. And that's what they don't understand. This country was founded on the freedom to practice any religion, not the freedom for you to push your religion down somebody's throat. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And you know, we got the old 10th Commandment monument coming up here soon.
Right.
On our state capitol ground.
Well, you know? I'm still pushing for the Satan monument. I think it's hilarious. People get offended.
You know what? Man, I don't know if you followed what actually happened on that. The Satanist monument, the Baphomet, got through the grounds committee.
Right.
So, what our legislature did, I think it was crazy rapers.
That dude's a nut.
What they did is they had an emergency bill, like the next day, had an emergency bill, and what it did was strip the grounds committee of their ability to approve, and anything that has to be approved has to be approved by the Congress.
Right.
And so, but you know what, man, we're gonna spend some money defending this one.
Right, and that's what they don't understand. We're going to waste millions of dollars.
It is blatantly it goes against separation of church and state. And
right.
I'm sure, and now that and because the Satanists, what's that dude's name? Forget the idea of the fake church. You know, and it's funny because they don't believe in Satan.
No, they don't, and people don't understand that. It's a joke to them.
What they're doing is trying to show the absurdity, and so
right.
The opposite.
It's satire.
Shock value.
Right.
Look at this scary,
right.
This scary Satan. That's, but
they do it as satire.
They're pro LGBT.
Right. It's a joke.
About civil rights, and it's amazing if you read their literature. But
right.
What they do is they do that for shock value. Because Christians
right.
are so scared of the devil. And
right.
And
it's like you said. They've
worked with the Freedom for Religion Foundation, and so they'll probably, like I said, there's going to be some lawsuits coming.
Right, and it's going to go to the Supreme Court, and it's going to cost a fortune, and the Satanists are going to win because of the Constitution, man. And people, like you said, they don't realize Satanists don't actually believe in Satan, in the physical being of Satan. Yeah. They do it, like you said, to show the absurdity of religion and how it poisons minds and really poisons the electorate and the political process. But they don't believe in actual Satan. They're doing this as a joke, as satire. You know what I mean?
They're trying to do the opposite. Like in Oklahoma, I remember when they had their 10 Commandments.
Right.
And their case went to the Oklahoma Supreme Court, and they ruled that the statute could go on, but can go up. But that's when some nutty dude, I think he was even a Christian, ran his car into the 10
crashed into it. What a nut.
And so they decided, and so the people who did the 10 Commandments, the
Right.
You know, we just wanted, you know, if they're up, then we're going to go up.
Right. They're just trying to say what's good for the goose is good for the gander, basically. And that's what people don't understand, that everybody has the right to believe in anything they want. Like, I just saw the other day, they're having another big deal about one of these dudes that believe in the flying spaghetti monster wearing a spaghetti straight on his head and his driver license.
I think, that's funny.
And that's funny.
The day or two ago. You know, because they are making a point.
Right.
I mean, because they, like, go the furthest as far as, like, amongst a lot of agnostics and atheists. As far as, like, theirs is actually, they have a church, and they have a, you know, they attend, and
they got bylaws.
They mimic religion, but just to show, again, just to point out the absurdity of it.
Right.
But you know what? Maybe there was a flying spaghetti monster that created everything.
Right, because when you start playing that what-if game, it could be a flying spaghetti monster.
Or a flying teapot.
Or flying anything. Right, it could be anything.
I mean, or you know, unicorn, or a rainbow fart in a picture.
Right, dude. And that's what people don't understand. And look, this is what I don't understand. I know most liberals I know are Christians, but they don't beat you over the head with it or try to inject it into the politics. But, man, conservatives do it right out the gate, dude. You know what I mean? And they don't understand that everybody doesn't believe in that, man. You know what I mean? And there's more atheists and agnostics nowadays than ever. And people are leaving the church in droves.
You know what? It's actually as far as like within the groups, I've heard that it's the actual biggest minority, or the nuns, not necessarily agnostics or atheists, but people that, like, you know, don't go to church and really just don't care.
Right.
You know, because I didn't care really.
Right.
You know, until I got into politics, and then I saw all the shit they try to do, and like, whoa.
Right.
And that's what, you know, that's what brings out the militant in it.
Right.
Because,
and for good point, man.
You know, you got. Oh, did you hear the Kentucky governor?
Right.
His solution to all the crime was to go out. People go out in like groups of 3 or 4 or 5 people a couple times a week, and like stop on each corner and pray.
Right. Good luck with that shit. Like I said.
I mean, he had actual like billboard maps of like streets and stuff.
Where to go to?
Press conference. He had an actual press conference.
Yeah, I saw that.
Like this I mean, that's the most insane shit I've ever seen.
Right.
I mean, is it crazy?
It is. It's totally insane. George Carlin said it best. He said he prays to Joe Pesci, and about half the time, right, and about half the time, the shit he prays for happens. About half the time, it don't, and it works out about the same as praying to God. And that's the truth. And I'm not knocking anybody for believing in God or the flying spaghetti monster. Believe in what you want, but keep that shit to yourself and keep that shit out of our politics, man. You know what I mean? That's all I ask.
Yeah.
You know, you can believe in whatever. Like I said, you can believe in Baphomet. You can believe that Scrooge McDuck is God, for all I give a shit. But I just want you to keep that shit to yourself, man. And the Christianity and these militant evangelicals have also started with this uptick in hate crime. You know what I mean? And all this hate crime against Muslims. And here's what's crazy. I got these facts right here, Bart, and this was crazy. You would think that the majority of hate crimes, and there's a major uptick in hate crimes since Donald Trump's been in president, and racist attacks. Just like we were talking about, LeBron James just got the word nigger spray painted on his fence at his mansion in L.A. in a gated community. So that tells you that one of his rich white neighbors done that shit, man. And people don't get mad because I said the word nigger, because I don't say the N word, and this is why. Because like my heroes George Carlin and Richard Pryor and Lenny Bruce said, if you refuse to use a word and make it taboo, you give it power that it don't deserve. And when you say and when you say the N word, that takes away the gravity and the impact of what the word actually means. And it's a heinous word, don't get me wrong. But when you say the N word, it don't have the impact of saying they spray painted nigger on LeBron James's gate. You know what I mean? And that's
And
here's what.
Did they show it on TV?
No, I haven't seen it. But you know, Muhammad Ali.
Like the picture of it.
Muhammad Ali's wife come out today and compared LeBron James to Muhammad Ali, and these dudes are having a problem with it. And what she was trying to say is LeBron James is the only major sports figure that you hear speaking out on stuff like this. You didn't hear Michael Jordan talk about this shit. You didn't hear. You don't hear no other major Stephon Curry or Cam Newton or any other major athletes or Tom Brady talk about this shit. You know what I mean? LeBron's the only one that's got the balls to speak up on it, and I respect him for that. But I got this chart from Think Progress about hate crimes since Election Day. And here's what blows my mind. Did you know that the Muslim hate crimes are actually fourth on the list? That there's been more Jewish hate crimes, black hate crimes, and crimes against gay people than actual Muslims? That's crazy, ain't it? You would think it would be Muslims.
That's all Steve Bannon for it.
Right. Well, that just tells you that it's more than just people are hating on Muslims. People I think they got the green light because Donald Trump's a racist and spews racist coded words that they can speak out and be openly racist again. We knew it exists, but now people have the balls to bring it out to the forefront. But here's. Well,
yeah, it's growing. What it is, it's growing nationalism.
Right. Right, it's nationalism, and we know that nationalism is the precursor to fascism. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And that's what happened in Nazi Germany. They were all nationalists, and they become fascist, and that's how it went down. But Think Progress says since Donald Trump has been elected, that 41.7% of documented incidents are connected to the election victory of Donald Trump. So that means almost half of these crimes are directly linked to the election of Donald Trump. So people can't dismiss it and say it's just racist being racist. But and racists have always existed. That's true. But they've been emboldened because of Donald Trump and his rhetoric and Steve Bannon, who's probably really the president. If you want to.
Oh yeah, Trump doesn't care, man. It's funny because I listened to a bunch of stuff at work, and I've been listening to some depositions, and I listened to one of Trump's depositions when one of his, he did that thing at his hotel by the White House.
Yeah, I saw that.
A couple of his guys, big famous guys that were going to put restaurants in there, bailed on him.
Right.
And there, you know what? He doesn't know a
thing about nothing.
About his businesses.
Right.
He's not a businessman at all. I mean, he knew, and you know what? He doesn't care about.
He don't care about nothing.
You know what? They asked him. They're like, "Hey, so what did you do to prepare for this?" He's like, "Nothing."
Nothing. Right. I've seen that deposition.
That is, I mean, and man, if people would listen to this deposition and hear him, but he knows. I mean, he knows nothing.
Nothing about nothing.
His businesses.
Right.
I mean, it's amazing. It's like, wow. And actually, with his old Trump Jr., he doesn't know shit either about his shit.
No, they're just heads who let underlings do all the real work. They don't know nothing about nothing. In that deposition, Donald Trump basically says he has no stance on nothing. He has no principles. He has no real issues he believes in. You know what I mean? That's what people are saying. He has a lack of principles. He has a total lack of, because he has no principles. His only principle is making money, and he's not even good at that, man. And that's what people don't understand. He started out with $200 million. Well, he got $1 million loan, and then his dad gave him $200 million. And they said if he would have invested that money and just put it in a mutual fund, that he'd have more money now than he would with all these bullshit businesses he got. You know what I mean? So.
Oh, yeah. And old daddies, has bailed him out. Back in one of Trump's the biggest deals in New York, I heard the dad is of course what was his collateral? Daddy.
Right.
And that was back when when New York was kind of shit,
Right, yeah, the 70s and 80s.
All the crazy days where, I see all the X-ray theaters down on whatever Main Street is there,
Right. Times Square. Yeah, it was a shithole.
And so he got a good deal ironically, through the government.
Right. His daddy and him made their fortune off government funding and housing.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was all rent control and stuff. That's when, it's funny, I heard
Jared Kushner does the same thing, man. That's why he likes Jared Kushner so much. Jared Kushner is basically Donald Trump, the second coming of Donald Trump. Only reason he's got anything is because of his daddy. His daddy's bankrolled him and everything. He owns this building that he's overpaid for, that he owes $500 million on, and he ain't got nobody's going to bail him out.
He owns that building in blood money, huh?
Right, yeah. And we'll get to that, because that's part of the conspiracy, and I'll get to that later on about a building that he owns. It just happens to be, I want all my conservative Christian friends to know, 666. That's right. The number of the beast, 5th Avenue. He owns 666 5th Avenue. It's in big red letters on the side of the building, the color of blood. He could have chosen any color, but he chose red. That's because I think he's in league with the devil or the Antichrist, if you want to go that far with it, or Trump is the Antichrist. And that's proof in my book. That's my conspiracy. That's proof in my book.
Illuminati.
That's right. The Illuminati's the third eye. It's all going down. They're all in on it. Bilderbergers, they're all in on it.
And George Soros.
Right, of course. That's also something funny. George Soros, but when Obama got elected before Obama, he was the great boogeyman of the right. They act like George Soros funded every liberal idea and every liberal cause there was. But guess who else he funded? Jared Kushner. Him and Jared Kushner are in business together, and he is actually in business with Donald Trump. But you don't hear him mention that no more. You don't hear him say George Soros no more. And George Soros is in the pocket of Donald Trump and Jared Kushner. He's bankrolled both those jackasses. But they don't ever mention that. But you know what I mean? George Soros is evil. You know, he's the one that...
Well, you know what? George Soros is the Democrat Koch brothers.
Right. Well, that's what they make him out to be. He was the equivalent of the liberal Koch brothers. But if you go look at how much money he spends in politics, it's a drop in the bucket compared to the Koch brothers. He really don't spend that much money. You can go to opensecrets.org, and you can see who puts money where and donates money where to political causes, and it tells you all the open secrets. Now, the Koch brothers got a bunch of dark money. They got hundreds of millions of dollars. They're sliding around. You don't know who's getting it or where it's coming from. You know what I mean? But the shit they do make public is on opensecrets.org. And George Soros, he don't kick in that much money. You know what I mean? He's definitely a paper tiger. Right, he's a paper tiger, man.
He loves the Clintons, of course.
Right, and you know, he did try to manipulate the currency of Greece. I think it's one of their big deals. But George Soros is nothing, man. But like I said, but you don't hear his name no more because nowadays, if you bring it up, you also got to mention that he's bankrolled Jared Kushner and Trump, and they both owe him money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And people, and this,
it was like $1 billion or something.
Yeah, it's a large sum of money. More money than we'll ever see, or 100 of us ever see, and that's something else. That's something else that blows my mind. When people are, when they try to dismiss, and there's a bunch of smoke around this Russian shit. It ain't a little bit of smoke. There's more smoke about this Russian shit than there was about Watergate back in the day. I'm talking. There's a massive amount of smoke, and here's what blows my mind. People want to make a big deal about Trump. Trump has been in what mafia, Russian mafia dudes for decades. There's a dude, man, named Sater. His name is Felix Sater, and he's a twice convicted felon for running a stock fraud, and he's a Russian mobster, a Russian mob affiliated dude. Trump claimed in a deposition that he wouldn't know the guy if he saw him, but he kept the office on the same floor as Donald Trump in the Trump Tower and worked for Donald Trump for 2 years, and there's pictures on the internet where he's taking pictures of Trump opening buildings, and he's standing right next to him, but Trump claims he wouldn't know the dude if he saw him. You know what I'm saying? So this ain't nothing new, dude.
He wouldn't know David Duke if you saw him either.
Right. But 10 years earlier, he was on video talking about David Duke. You know what I mean? Donald Trump. What blows my mind about Donald Trump? He's like a Twitter psychic. You know what I mean? He'll tweet something 5 years ago. He's a Twitter psychic. All his tweets from 5 years ago have come to pass. Every time he tweets something.
I thought there was stuff like that.
Right.
But yeah. If Trump has some tweet out now, he has the opposite earlier.
Right, exactly.
For sure.
Well, you know, they just...
I think it's from drinking too much coffee.
Right. Well, like I said, Trump, I believe Trump, man, I believe that he has a personality disorder, and I believe he's really not that mentally stable, and he's definitely not as smart or business savvy as he makes himself out to be, or the right believes he is, because he started out with $200 million. Who couldn't turn $200 million into a few billion? Hell, I could. You know what I mean? How do you lose How do you lose $1 billion in the casino industry? Nobody's ever done that.
Oh, you know, exactly. And who gets banned? Where was he banned in? Was he banned in Las Vegas from operating casino?
Yeah, he is. And you know, and people don't realize Trump is the biggest lying hypocrite ever. All thing that matters to him is money. This is all a big money scheme for him to make money, man. And you know what I mean?
You know what? People believe that. I had a guy at the gym the other day, in Trump's on, and I don't know, he was kind of condemning something Trump did, but then he's like, but man, he's just not a politician, man, and he's good,
that's another
businessman.
lie.
He's a businessman, that started, it started from nothing or something.
Right.
Like, and you know what, I was wanting this work out, so I didn't really get into it with him. I was like, yeah, okay.
$200 million is nothing.
I mean, but no, and he said he's like the common man. I was like, oh shit.
There's nothing common about that dude.
I gotta go work out.
Because I'm gonna choke you.
The common man, because I was about to, and I don't like I said, I like this guy, and I don't, so I don't want to, get into some political shit with him because he obviously doesn't know shit.
Right.
And so,
and that's the greatest lie that Trump has sold.
You know what? That's how he won. Is because these people that are on the very edge of listening to anything political.
Right. White poor folks think he's a regular guy.
You know what, though? Trump did bring some people into the political process. So that he did.
Right, yeah, he bought more people that never got involved.
Unfortunately, it wasn't necessarily people that you wanted paying attention.
Right. Right, he did get more people involved. Unfortunately, they're dumbasses. But that's the greatest lie he's ever told and sold, is that he's the common man. There's nothing common about this dude. He was born rich. He's never done nothing common in his life other than eat fast food.
But he's not a politician.
Right, and I love that lie too. Because once you're the president...
It's like, you know what, exactly. I think, I don't know if this is on your page or somewhere, I kind of had someone said he's not a politician. I'm like, he's president. I think that is the
yeah, that's the epitome of politician. Right.
It's like...
Well, I tip my hat to Trump. He is the greatest con man of bullshitter to ever exist. You know what I mean?
Oh, ever.
And I will give him that. Because I've never seen a dude, and people get on this, but you can go fact check this, but people don't want to because they don't want to know the truth. But he's a pathological liar. I've never seen a human being lie as much as Donald Trump does. He lies like breathing, dude. You know what I mean? He lied about the Paris Accord the other day in that speech. They counted like 14 lies he told in 10 minutes in a speech. How do you lie 14 times in 10 minutes? You know what I mean? That's like 2 lies a minute. You know,
he's just an embarrassment.
He is, dude. And it blows my mind because...
Did you see the French president was really fucking with him?
Oh, I loved it when he strong-armed him.
Man. And then did you see him going down like the blue carpet?
And he tried to hug him. Donald Trump opened his arms.
And he stepped off and hugged. He stepped off and hugged the real leader of the world.
Right.
Merkel.
Right, Merkel.
And,
and see, people don't realize Merkel's a physicist. You know, people don't realize that's a smart leader. She's a actual physicist, a scientist. Why are we smart enough to put that person in charge of our country? Why don't we have a physicist running our country? Or you know what I mean? Because we're stupid. That's why.
Well, yeah.
As a country, we're stupid, and we're arrogant.
We're arrogant. You know, and it's going to cost us in about 20 or 30 years.
It's going to cost us everything, dude.
Shit.
Right, it's going to cost us everything, man. And that's what people don't understand. This myth, this American dream myth they pushed for 100 years is a straight-up myth, the American dream. Oh, yeah. And the fact that Americans are exceptional, this American exceptionalism. There's exceptional in every country.
That was dangerous.
Right, and that's the one that makes us arrogant. And you know, we're so arrogant, we don't even try no more. We're like, we're better than them. Fuck learning something. You know what I mean? Or understanding a different perspective. Piss on that. America. You know what I mean? And that's how people are. America.
You gotta drop the A. Come on, man. America.
America. That's right, America. But like I said, I don't think Trump will get reelected. I'm hoping. They're saying that the NSA dude's going to testify tomorrow, Mike Rogers, and he's got a bombshell. But there's been so many bombshells dropped. I don't know how many they got left. They got to be running out. They said him and Comey both are going to drop the hammer, and I'm hoping because look, people don't understand. Jared Kushner has probably intentionally colluded him and Mike Flynn with the Russians, and this is what people don't understand. They sought out before they were even in office. They sought out the Russians to create a back channel, which makes no sense at all. You know what I mean? For them to do that, right? And that they did it by themselves. There was 3 of them. It was Eric Prince, who used to run Blackwater, and his sister is, guess who? Bessie DeVos. Him, Mike Flynn, and Jared Kushner went and sought out the Russians. And twice, Mike Flynn and Jared Kushner were together. So that's what people don't understand the big deal is. If Kushner is in on it, that Trump has to know. You're going to tell me these folks are going out on their own to seek Russians without Trump knowing it? Or Trump telling them to? You know what I mean? That makes no sense whatsoever. If his son-in-law, and this is something else, he's given his son-in-law every hard job you could have, including trying to get Middle East peace. And dude's unqualified for all of it. But he's giving him like the 10 hardest jobs ever. And dude's unqualified. You know, he couldn't even get into Harvard. His daddy had to donate $2.5 million to get him into Harvard because dude's SATs, scores, and grades were good enough to get him in. So he's a dumbass too. But he's going to get Middle East peace, and he's going to fix the government, and he's Trump's #1 advisor, him and Bannon. And they're both, all of them are unqualified. Well, it is scary, and people don't realize the level of incompetence. That's why there's so much chaos. It's because everybody, not only Trump's incompetent, but everybody he surrounded himself with is incompetent. And it wouldn't be so bad if Trump would have went out and got competent people. You know what I mean? But he didn't. He went.
No, for sure.
Right, and every head of every department.
He don't want anyone that's more competent than him. You can look at.
Exactly. Exactly, because it's all about him. And that's why.
Man, the thing is, the Democrats better get some shit together.
Exactly.
Because if not, they're looking bad as it is. I don't know if you saw, now at least a lot of Democrats are starting to tell Hillary to go away. I don't know if you saw her little interview at the Recode.
Yeah.
Where she threw the DNC under the bus.
Right. Well, she's throwing everybody under the bus now.
Man, it's getting bad.
Right.
And you got who's that? Perez leading the show.
Right. I like that dude.
He's a big You like Perez?
Well, I like the fact. Well, this is what I like about him. He is pretty. He's more corporate than I like. He's more corporate than I like. But I like the fact that he's got balls to him, and he says shit that the rest of them ain't got the balls to say. That's the only thing I like about him.
He doesn't say anything with substance. He can cuss sometimes or whatever.
I like that.
Dude is a dude.
He is a corporate stooge. He is a corporate stooge.
You know why he got put in there? It's because Keith Ellison was looking like he was going to win.
Right, they could have a Muslim.
Perez was not going to run. Obama told them to put Perez in
because they could have a Muslim.
And then it was over. So man, they get Perez, you got Schumer, you got Pelosi, and I don't know if you heard about just last week or two, the California was electing their new leader of their
party,
Democratic Party in California. There was this black lady who's big progressive. She was pretty much going to win.
Oh, you're talking about Kamala? Used to be the Attorney General? Wasn't it? Or one of her... It was,
Kimberly Ellis.
Right, it was one of her cohorts. That's old Kamala's buddy. Go ahead, though.
Yeah. And the thing, what happened was there were more, what they called them, burning delegates, because they pretty much were. But there were more than in the count, like 1,100 to 900. But no one was told that they got super delegates out there.
I hate that shit.
And
that's ruining our party.
And so this lady is they're suing to try to get to see about the recount. Because supposedly some people, of course, like in the Democratic primaries, voted that weren't eligible, and man. So you know what? They got a mess going, dude, and they're putting up Cory Booker's done. If they put him up, they're crazy. That dude,
right? He sold out.
What you think about him?
He was all right, but he sold out, man. He sold out.
He's a Jared Kushner boy.
Right, he completely sold out.
He was a sellout anyway. He voted against Bernie's plan to be able to import medicine from
Canada. Right. He sold them out, and then come to find out he was getting $300,000 from the pharmaceutical company.
Exactly. So, man, it's okay. So, who did they have? If they don't run Tulsi Gabbard, that's about the only one, because Elizabeth Warren's out, too. She's done for. Hopefully they won't try to run her either.
Well, all I like Elizabeth Warren, but she's done some stuff lately that I don't really like. She's kowtowed to some special interests that I don't like. But Al Franken, man, I'm loving Al Franken, dude. Al Franken ain't sold out, and Al Franken's Harvard educated.
No, man.
Man, I love Al Franken.
Because Al Franken was at, where's he from? Wyoming?
Minnesota.
Minnesota. Minnesota primary went to Bernie. He said that he's going to vote his way. He's super delegate. He voted for Hillary. Minnesota overwhelmingly for Bernie. And I don't know. I guess unfortunately, going back to the lesser of the lesser evils.
Right.
Al Franken is probably. I mean, he's one of the better ones, but he's still sell out.
Well, he sold Bernie out, but this is the way I look at it. When you still got to work within the framework of the establishment, whether you like it or not. And there's some compromises you got to make.
No, you don't.
To make it, you do. That's just how it's set up, and they've set it up with superdelegates.
But why? To make it what? To get reelected?
To get reelected, to wield power to become president. I don't like it. That's the way the game is.
People need to quit playing the game.
Right, I agree with you, but you got to play the way you got to play within the rules, and that's the way it's set up nowadays. And I wish Bernie was a younger man.
That's what everyone said about why you should vote for Hillary. This is just how it is, and so this is what you get.
Yeah, but I didn't.
And you know what? Until people quit doing that, it has to
right.
be exactly like that.
The superdelegates.
I blame everyone that does that shit.
But until we get rid of I had a girl on here, man, who I'm friends with, and she really got into it. She became a delegate for Bernie, and she went to the National DNC meet in Washington, and she was on here and done a podcast. I don't know if you heard it. And they locked the Bernie delegates out and just fucking railroaded them, dude.
I listened to that.
Right, and they fucked them over, and it was wrong.
They like the noise canceling machines, and,
right?
It was insane.
What they did, yeah, it was insane. It pissed me off. I'm still on the verge of probably leaving the party.
They are, they're getting sued for that.
Right, but they're dragging it out for 10 years. The whole superdelegate thing is where the whole superdelegate thing was created to ensure the establishment survives. It's made to protect the establishment, and as long as the Democratic Party.
You know what? Brilliant DWS, David Washington Schultz, actually said that on MSNBC or somewhere.
It's the truth.
That's right. So
it's the truth.
The grassroots can't get the power.
Right, and that goes against, that's un-American, and it goes against what a true democracy should be, because it should come from the people and grassroots movements. And that's what pisses me off, is that the whole superdelegate thing, they try to do away with it. Bernie and them were trying to do away with that at the National Convention. They shut them out because that's what protects the establishment and the status quo. And I totally don't agree with it, man. And I'm still on the verge of probably leaving the party and becoming an independent just for that fact alone on the superdelegates. You know what I mean? Because it's total horseshit, man. And, Hillary was a bad horse. People still backed her, even though they knew she was bad for the country. Not bad for the country, possibly bad for the country, but bad for the party, and she didn't have a chance to win. You got to go where people have passion.
We wouldn't have a DeVos or
right.
Carson and Rick Perry.
Right. She's definitely the lesser of two evils. You know what I mean? I didn't vote for it at the last minute.
We still would have made a big arms deal with Saudi Arabia.
Right. We'd still be bombing Syria.
We'd still be in the wars.
Right. But at least the government would be competent and stable. That, you know what I mean? You can say that.
You know what? Here's the way I see it. You know what? If she'd have got in, then the Democrats would have been doing the same old. And you know what? In 2018,
we're going to clean house.
Much redder. Oh no, I'm talking about if Hillary would have won.
Oh yeah, you're right there.
Much redder, and you know what? She'd be defeated in 2020.
Right, and the opposite is about to happen.
Now, and like I said, so now at least you know what?
The opposite is happening.
People are paying attention.
Right, and getting involved, and getting passionate, and getting angry.
And you know what? The Democratic Party better start listening to their progressive wing, or shit's gonna. I mean,
Right.
We're going to become the Tea Party of the left.
Right.
And we're going to primary.
And it's on the verge of happening.
And so, but like the Dems better they better turn around soon because it's not soon. Man, we can't handle much more Trump. But
no, and
that's it. If it's not soon and the economy's doing okay, there'll be another 4 years of Trump.
Right, but here's the kicker. People want to give all these high fives at the Trump. The economy we have right now that's doing so well is from the effects and the policies of Barack Obama.
Of course.
You won't see Trump. You won't see Trump's policies really taking effect to the end of the year and into 2018 is when you'll start seeing the effects of Trump. And that's and I tell all these liberals who are sad down and out that here's the silver lining on Trump. Trump is so incompetent and he's infuriated the left, and he's got people, like you said, angry and involved, and now people are paying attention, and they're supposed to be hell to pay, and that's what I like. 2018, the midterm elections, if these Republicans keep associating with Trump, they're going to get run out of office, and we're going to take control of the Congress back, and if that happens, you can bank the next day they're going to drop articles of impeachment. And this is what people don't understand. If Trump knew all this shit about Russia and the collusion, Mike Pence knew it too. You know what I mean? So Mike Pence should be
only if Mike Pence knew it too, because we don't want Pence.
No, he's a far right nut. He's a competent. Right, he can get shit done. Right, he gets shit done.
He's scary.
Yeah, he's scarier than Trump.
Trump's crazy, but
right, but Trump has no principles and can't get nothing done.
And the next to Trump, Pence looks like he's a little choir boy.
Right.
And people don't know much about Pence.
Right, because he's quiet.
Look at him. He seems sane.
Right, he looks the part. You know what I mean? He looks the part. But people don't realize he actually does have principles, and he does get shit done, and his policies are even way further to the right than Trump's. He started the AIDS epidemic in Indiana. He passed a law in Indiana, if you get an abortion, that you actually got to pay for a funeral for the fetus. Which is insane. Which is insane.
And did you hear, like, his wife won't let him in the room
with other women?
With another woman.
And he calls her mother, which is creepy.
And where does that circle back to?
Oh, right. He's a religious zealot. Yeah, he's a zealot, dude. He calls her mother. How creepy is that? That's pretty creepy, dude. You call your wife mother. That's kind of creepy in my book. You know what I mean? That is weird, dude. But yeah, he's a definite zealot, religious zealot in the party. You know what I'm saying? He is a hard right evangelical, and like you said, unlike Trump, he's actually competent and can get shit done, man. He knows how to work government. He knows how it works.
He knows how it works. So it's like, you want Trump to be bumbling around, and
right.
His ego gets in the way of like him listening to people that actually know what they're talking
right.
about.
You're right. So, his ego saves us. A bumbling Trump beats Mike Pence. Right. Like you said, a bumbling, stumbling Trump beats Mike Pence all day long. You know what I mean? By a mile. And, but like I said, I'm happy that it's getting the party fired up. It's getting people involved. And unless Trump pulls out a miracle of some sort, he's definitely not getting reelected. Right now, the percentage of people that want him to impeach is 10 points higher than his approval rating. You know what I mean?
His approval rating
39%.
Now just his base.
Right, that's all he's got is his base, and they are slowly but surely starting to wake up to his bullshit too. You know what I mean?
Well, give them a year or two when they don't have any health care.
Right, and they start realizing that all his policies are fucking them. You know what I mean? When they start realizing their check got cut off and their medical care got cut off, and when the shit starts affecting them, then they'll realize that Trump ain't for the little guy. You know what I mean? And we know it's coming, but I am loving watching these conservatives on Facebook and Twitter bidding themselves a knot to try to convince people that Trump's confident and he's going to be a good president.
Those are some crazy looking pretzels.
Right, ain't they, dude? Man, they are about to break their spines twisting themselves in knots to try to convince people that Trump is competent. It's hilarious. You know what I mean? It's so obvious.
They're going to hurt their back worse than you know.
I guarantee you they are. And that's what blows my mind. when you see them, they're so his base, or they want it so bad, they're hoping they can wish it true. You know what I mean? Deep in the heart, they know it's not true, but they hope if they pray and they wish enough that he'll come around or to work out for them, and it's not going to. And that's like a lot of them still think that his trip overseas, he just took his first trip, that was a roaring success, but they don't realize.
That was the most embarrassing shit ever.
Right, and they don't realize other than Saudi Arabia, he pissed off everybody else and every one of our allies, dogged them out, and they all are mad at him and laughing at us and wondering how we elected. Because I've talked to people from different countries, and they wondering, like I wonder, how this idiot is actually running the United States, man. But these people are convinced, and here's what blows my mind. Social media. That's where social media is evil, and it plays a part. Because these people, I got conservative friends that I debate with online. You see it, but I don't unfriend them because we don't have the same views. Conservatives, if you don't believe what they believe, they'll unfriend you. And 90% of all these conservatives out here only have people on their Facebook and Twitter that believe what they believe. And if you don't, they get rid of you. So they've built a bubble around themselves, and they only read right-leaning media, and they only listen to right-leaning opinions, and they understand that is, man, it's going to ruin them. It's going to ruin the country. It has ruined the country, and that's why Trump's in power. Is because social media played a big part, not only because Russia put out so much fake news on social media that they ate up, and all these conspiracy theories. And people don't realize the reason that shit works is because people want it to work. They wanted to believe that Obama's a Muslim and that he's the Antichrist. You know what I mean? That's why they believe in conspiracy theories and fake news. It's because they want to believe it before they even see it. You know what I mean? And social media in that situation is evil, and it has brought the rise of Donald Trump and this populist movement of idiots. And I'm not saying all conservatives are idiots, but a solid half of them are. You know what I mean? And my conservative friends, I'm being conservative with that number. I say half. I really want to say 80% or 90%, but I'm gonna say half. Most of them are uneducated idiots, don't know nothing about it, except they know Trump was on TV and they like him, and he says shit that nobody else says, and he pisses people off. Right? He pisses people off. Right? And he's not a politician. Right. And he sold that lie, and social media plays into it. Because they don't realize America was built on dissent. Dissenting opinions is what made America a country. It's why we had a revolution, because we didn't agree with England and we dissented. And that you have to have dissenting opinions so you can get a perspective and make compromises, and that's how politics work. And these people block themselves and shield themselves for any kind of dissenting opinion. Because if you don't agree with them, 9 times out of 10 they're going to unfriend you. And I don't do that. If I don't agree with your politics, I don't unfriend you. I don't take this shit personal. You know what I mean? You can believe what you want, but they take it personal, dude.
I like to get in the back and forth.
Right. But they take it personal.
Because what it does for me is it makes me
pissed off and want to choke them.
Actually, like researching stuff like before I'm going to do something, say something.
Right, and I do my homework before I say something.
It educates me, a little bit.
Right. And plus, you realize at the end of the day, Bart, that no matter what you do, you can take a book of facts and beat them over the head with it, and they're still not going to believe you, dude, because they don't want to. Somehow, somehow, because of social media, belief has become fact in their mind. If they believe it, it's a fact. You know what I mean? And that's not how facts work. It's a fact whether you believe it or not. That's how facts work. Even if you don't believe it, a fact's a fact, believe it or not. But if they believe it, it's a fact. You know what I'm saying? And they believe Donald Trump's a regular guy. Donald Trump's a regular guy, and he's not a politician, and he's standing up for the little guy, even though he's been gaming the system and bribing politicians as an insider, and he's never done nothing normal in his life. He was born with a silver spoon up his ass, and has had a silver spoon up his ass his entire life. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. He has a pretty big ass, too.
Right. And that's what blows my mind. He's liable to have a heart attack, dude.
At least he's not playing golf as much as Obama did.
Right, that's what blows my mind. All these people bitch about Obama playing golf. I posted it the other day. Dude's only been in office 130-something days, and he's already been to the golf course 22 times, dude. He plays golf more than that dude's playing golf more than people on the PGA Tour, man. You know what I'm saying? But that's okay, because he's different. He's white. He's white Republican, so it's different, Bart. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's like Ted Nugent. Ted Nugent can threaten the president's life. Ted Nugent can threaten the president's life and threaten to kill Hillary, but Kathy Griffin holds up a fucking mannequin head with ketchup on it, and they need to run her out of the country and lynch her and behead her and all this other shit. But Ted Nugent can say it.
And you know what? I mean, why did she do that press conference, man? That was just a train wreck.
That was a train wreck. It made it so much worse. It made it.
I mean,
she should have done what Bill Maher done. Bill Maher said he was sorry.
You know what? Oh, Bill Maher's. You know what? What's going on? These two are comedians.
Right. It's a joke.
She is annoying. I've never liked her.
Right, but that's what she does.
And you know what? Who cares? It's like, okay, yes, did a big deal. I mean,
right. When does her opinion matter? Right. She's a comedian.
It's like, here, look at this shiny object, and look, don't worry about like what Trump's doing. Let's worry about this. The lady that put up a mannequin head,
right?
That possibly looked like a president,
right?
And like I said, there was no words.
But we're snowflakes. But we're snowflakes, Bart. Yeah. We're whining bitches snowflakes.
The snowflake thing is
hilarious. Because they whine a bitch more than anybody. I just posted a while ago before we started this podcast online. If you want to see the biggest snowflake in the country, go to Donald Trump's Twitter feed. All he does is whine and cry. That's all he does.
I know it.
That's all he does. He's the biggest snowflake on the planet if we want to start calling snowflakes. But like you said about Kathy Griffin, it'd be different, but she's known to do wacky shit like that to piss people off. That's what she does. She's done it her whole career. Her whole career is based on that controversy.
Why apologize? I mean,
right.
That's like that. Why apologize at all? And then the press conference with the lawyer there. I mean, what? And then she's still like trying to make jokes. I mean, and I don't know. I remember seeing her on one episode of Seinfeld, and she's annoyed.
Right. I love stand-up comedy. I watch it all the time, man. Right now, the funniest dude I think is going is Bill Burr. I've said it for years. That dude's hilarious.
Oh, dude, I love that dude.
Bill Burr's hilarious, but Kathy Griffin's not my cup of tea.
He has a podcast.
Yeah, the Monday morning podcast. I listen to it. I listen to Joe Rogan's too.
Yeah.
But
Rogan has pretty good guests on there.
Well, Rogan started, but the deal with Rogan is he got on the podcast thing early, dude, like 10, 15 years ago, and knew it was the future before anybody else figured it out. And then he blew up and got rich off of it. And now all these comedians, every comedian you know nowadays got a podcast. And the reason is because of Joe Rogan. And the reason is because of Joe Rogan. You know what I mean? Tom Segura, who's Joe Rogan's buddy, that's a funny-ass dude. You know what I'm talking about, Tom Segura?
Yeah.
That dude's hilarious. Go watch his special on Netflix, dude. You hurt yourself laughing. And he's got a good podcast called Your Mama's House that him and his wife does. It's hilarious, dude. But with Joe
Rogan, man, he knows a lot about.
Yeah, he's a highly intelligent dude, and he gets real guests from everywhere.
And he can get all kind of guests.
From Neil deGrasse Tyson to porn stars to everything in between. You know what I mean? He gets everybody. Yeah. He had Lawrence Krauss on there, and Lawrence Krauss or Niles is one of the greatest physicists there is on the planet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because Joe Rogan is police tech,
right? But Joe Rogan's atheist, but Eddie Bravo and I can't forget about Joey Diaz. Joey Diaz, that dude's hilarious, dude.
That big fat dude.
Yeah, that dude he's got the greatest.
Like from Boston or something.
Right, yeah. He tells the greatest stories ever, dude. And they always involve drugs and hookers and shit, dude. They're hilarious.
Exactly. I can't believe that dude's still alive.
I can't either, dude. That dude's been to jail for kidnapping and all kind of shit. But back to Kathy Griffin, I don't want to get too far off topic. She's a comedian. You know what I mean? First of all, why does her opinion matter? Because she's a comedian, and she's not even a political comedian. The photographer who took the picture is known to take controversial pictures. That's what he does. She's known to be She's known to be controversial. She's built her whole career on hating on celebrities and pissing them off. Every joke she's got and every comedy special she does, all she does is dog out celebrities. That's all she does. She built a whole TV series called, what was it, The C-List, where she just dogged out celebrities. That's what she does. But the fact that people took her that seriously, you know what I mean? First of all, she didn't threaten to kill the president. She just showed. Right, she didn't even threaten to kill the president. She held up a mannequin head with ketchup on it with a wig that looked like Donald Trump. Ted Nugent openly said Obama can suck on my machine gun. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right, yeah, right.
And you know what?
Because he's
It's
white.
funny because metaphor seems like a pretty big word for all of a sudden.
Yeah, that was exactly what I thought when I saw that. I was like, man, he had to look up the definition of metaphor. You know what I mean? That dude had to Google that shit.
He had to get one of them thesaurus.
Right. Yeah. That dude had to Google that shit. But the fact they took that shit so seriously, man, what blows my mind. And look, comedians nowadays, and all these comedians that tell you when they play colleges, people have gotten so politically correct that when they go to colleges, they give them a list and they can't make jokes about hardly anything no more. That's why most of these major comedians have stopped playing colleges because they say they give them a list of things they can't joke about, and it's their whole damn set. That, you know what I mean? They ain't got shit to say.
Those are the snowflakes.
Right. Exactly. That's the real snowflakes. And I'm a liberal saying that. Right, I'm a liberal saying that. They're comedians. Comedians are supposed to say stuff to offend people. They're supposed to cross the line. That's what comedians do. That's what they do, man. Right. They do it to make you think.
And laugh at the same time.
Right. They make you think, laugh, and get a different perspective. They give you a different perspective, and they make you laugh, and sometimes they offend you. And, you know, that's what they do, man. You know, that's what Lenny Bruce did. That's what Richard Pryor did. That's what George Carlin did. That's what all the great comedians do, except for Jerry Seinfeld, who talks about nothing. Other than that, the rest of them offended. All the great ones do that. All the great comedians are like Bill Burr. Bill Burr's like that. He crosses the line and says offensive, crazy shit all the time. But that dude's hilarious. And he says shit that I don't agree with, but I still think's funny. You know what I mean? And they point out the absurdity. And what people don't understand is, in great comedy, there's always a grain of truth. In any great joke, there's a kernel of truth in that shit. That's what makes it so funny.
Exactly.
But they get, man, and look, I will say this: it used to be the liberals, and I'm a progressive, you're a progressive, but the liberals did get too PC, and have gotten too PC. But the Republicans and conservatives can't say anything no more because they follow right along. And they're doing the same shit that they accuse liberals of doing with this Kathy Griffin shit, man. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. It's always like that.
Right. We don't want to talk about conservative hypocrisy. We ain't got enough time in the day. We ain't got enough time in the day. But how she even made it on the... She should have even made it on the radar, dude. Huh?
What's that?
I said Kathy Griffin shouldn't even registered on their radar, dude. What is her opinion really... Her opinion means nothing.
Like I said, it shouldn't mean anything, especially she's not, like she said herself, she's not a big-time star. And I think exactly, she's exactly right. Because, you know what? They just wanted something to...
What?
You know,
well, they got to have fake outrage to distract them away from the real shit that's going down. That Donald Trump might have colluded with the Russians, or Jared Kushner might have colluded with the Russians. They're trying to distract themselves, and that goes back. And I was going to talk about this on the podcast. This whole Seth Rich conspiracy. Have you heard about the Seth Rich conspiracy?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I don't know. But,
they made this whole thing up. They made this whole thing up so they could say that dude's the one who leaked the emails. It wasn't the Russians, that it was Seth Rich. And Seth Rich was killed in Washington. He was a low-level DNC staffer. This dude didn't just learn how to do a little coding and was working on polling software. He wasn't a hacker or had the skills to hack a server. And I'm an IT guy, so I know. That dude didn't have the skills to hack and obtain these emails. And even WikiLeaks themselves basically said they didn't get the emails from Seth Rich. And not on top of that Seth Rich was a low-level stepper, just got robbed and killed, basically. They tried to rob him and it went bad. But on top of that, the guy who first said it, I forget his name, Rod Wheeler, he was a private investigator. He came out and said on a local news channel, well, he's went back and retracted his statements. And come to find out, he said he was an investigator for the family, which was a lie. He was hired, he's a Fox News contributor, Rod Wheeler is. He was hired by another millionaire conservative businessman who's a Fox contributor because they wanted this shit to be true. They created this shit to try to disconnect Donald Trump from this whole Russian email deal. But the fact is, Russia hacked it. Every intelligence agency in the world, except for the FSB and the Soviet Union, will tell you that Russia did it. Hell, Putin pretty much admitted it the other day when he said patriotic Russians probably did it. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't Seth Rich. And people are doing that to try to convince themselves that Donald Trump is a good guy. He didn't have nothing to do with the Russians. But Donald Trump's been in cahoots with the Russians for decades.
On the email thing, I mean, I have a problem with this. You know, they're collusion with the Russians and stuff. But as far as like the email hacking, I actually don't have much problem with it.
I don't know.
Especially as what it showed.
Right, I didn't have a problem with it. It didn't say nothing I didn't know.
But I'm worried about the more detailed stuff. I mean, because you know what? That didn't have whatever. I mean, that didn't have a huge effect on them.
No, but look here. But they did interfere with the election, and they did sway some voters through fake news. But did they do enough to turn the election in Donald Trump's favor? I don't know about that. But they tried, and that's enough for me. But like you said, did any of those emails surprise you? I knew all that shit. I knew they were scheming for Hillary.
Here's the bottom line. Hillary got beat by a fucking orange con man.
Right.
She did not. I don't think she went to Wisconsin.
Right.
She didn't go. I mean, so it's like
the biggest.
Right.
Right.
How can you be? I mean, the Russian thing is the problem, but we got to look at the other side too.
The problem was they were out of touch.
Kidding.
Right, you're right. The biggest thing that cost Hillary Clinton the election is Hillary Clinton. You know what I mean? The Russians might have played a small part, but the biggest fault falls on Hillary Clinton, and they backed a bad horse, and they knew she was a bad horse, and they tried to force her in there anyway, and they didn't listen to the Democratic Party. They didn't listen to their people, because the passion was behind Bernie. The people were behind Bernie, and when it comes to elections and politics, you back the guy who people are passionate about. You know what I mean? And they didn't.
That's how Trump won.
Right, because they were passionate about him.
You know what? This is a populist election.
Right, exactly. And Bernie was the populist guy.
Trump did the fake populism.
Right.
And Bernie did the real.
Right.
But the Democrats chose
the establishment.
One of the worst candidates ever that was the corporatist. And no, I mean, so it's like, I mean, anyone but her, maybe, but, you know, like I said, and Trump, you know, he talks, like I said, him not talking like a politician, and then you get Hillary that's all polished and thinks about every word she says, and it's like, you know what, people tired of that stuff.
Right,
so
that's exactly
like,
right.
Screw it, you know.
And the more she tried to look normal.
You realize, like, that the tentacles that he was going to bring with him were so bad.
Right, toxic. But like you said, the more she tried to pretend to be regular and common, the more abnormal it looked. You know what I mean? She should have embraced the fact. She should have went the opposite way with it. Embraced the fact. Look, I've been in politics forever. You know, I'm competent. She should have embraced that fact instead of trying to be normal and one of the people, because people didn't buy it. They saw right through the bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, but she had bad ideas. You know, she said that on the campaign trail, you know, to bash Bernie, she said that single payer will never happen. You know,
right.
And so it's like when you say shit like that, Dave, it's like, you know what? Wow,
right.
You dream big, huh?
Right.
She's not dreaming real big. She wanted to fix Obamacare.
Right.
No.
Well, she didn't want to dream big because of that corporate interests that were backing her. You know what I'm saying?
Man, and that's no problem. It's all, you know, corporate money. I mean,
right, but I don't ever want to get behind somebody who's so small-minded like that. I want somebody like Bernie or anybody else that shoots for the stars and think this is America, anything's possible.
That's how, and that is the politician, because you know what? You start your opening bid out like the Republicans do. They're smart. They know how to go negotiate. They start their opening bid out to the far right. And Obama, which is the worst negotiator, he would start his bid out where he wanted to end up.
Right. Right.
And then where would we find ourselves?
And you know, just like I know, in any negotiation, just like if you're selling a car, you want $1,000 for the car, but you go and tell the guy you want $2,000 and try to work it down and get right and see if you get a little more out of the deal.
Obama's like, hey, I want this. Oh, damn it, I said it again. You know, it's like, no, dude, and like I said, the Republicans start out way crazy. Right. And then they come back so they can say they compromise.
Right, right. And that's exactly, and they get exactly what they wanted to begin with, and everybody thinks they're the big deal makers. But I'll tell you who's not a deal maker. I'll tell you who's made some shitty deals and who's not a deal maker so far, and he claims to be the king of the art of the deal. Donald Trump so far hasn't impressed me with his deal making skills. You know what I mean? They punked him out in Saudi Arabia.
That healthcare guy slipped through his hands.
Right. And that's what I say. You can say what you want about Obama. I posted this yesterday, but at least you can say he was competent when he had control of both houses, the House and the Senate. He got health care through in his first 100 days, and about a half a dozen other things.
Oh man! I don't know. I'm a sour note on that, dude. He had both houses, correct?
Right.
You know what? He did not push for even a private option.
Right.
At all. He had both houses. If he was going to ram this thing through, all he did was get it watered down. He offered even Republican stuff, watered down more.
Yep.
Zero voted for this.
Right.
Zero.
Right.
And so it's like, you know what? No. Obama was a corporatist. You know, like
right. Well, Obama was.
He was a Clinton corporatist.
Right. Well, Obama was like it's better than nothing, and that's the only knock I had about him on a health care. Bernie was like, we should demand this. We can tell, and that's what they do in all these other Western countries. In Europe, they tell the drug companies what they're going to pay. The drug companies don't tell them what they're going to pay. This is the only country where the drug companies tell us what we're going to pay. The healthcare industry tells us what we're going to pay. It should be the other way around, and it's not.
I mean, we can like Medicare and Medicaid can't even negotiate drug prices.
Right.
They are big part of the biggest clients.
By far.
In business, that's what happens. But no, they got lobbyists and and see the Democrats get in office. They're good on they're good on social issues. Well, not really. Well, I don't know.
Sometimes
they are, but more they're better on social issues. But you know what? They're only slightly better on the fiscal issues.
Right.
Look at Barney Frank. He's on the board of a bank now.
Right.
I mean, how ridiculous is that? His name is on the bill that's supposed to.
Well, Frank died.
Regulate them. And
right, Frank died. The Frank Dodd Act.
Exactly.
But Dodd done the same thing. That's what people don't understand. It all comes down to this. Until we get rid of dark money and overturn Citizens United and get lobbyists out of the system and infect term limits, until we get rid of lobbyists that get in term limits, we're never going to get what we deserve. You know what I mean?
No.
And that's what people don't understand. They corrupt the whole system.
Speaking of dark money, really dark money, didn't Trump just do a thing where like churches can get into like the political stuff now?
Yeah, he made that legal, which goes against the Constitution. So you know what I mean? Because it used to be against the law for a minister or pastor to push his congregation to vote one way or the other. Even though they started doing it anyway when Obama was in office, they were technically breaking the law. But now Trump has done waived that.
They used to send. They had. I guess in October they had one Sunday like I forget what they called it, but they would video their sermons and it'd be real political, and they would actually send them to the IRS.
Right.
Because they wanted to challenge the Johnson Amendment.
Right.
It's in the IRS code about that.
Tax-exempt churches.
Not be political.
Right.
Or they'll lose their
tax-exempt status.
Their tax-free status.
Right.
Which
that's bullshit.
That's a whole other program there.
Right. Well, yeah, but me and you both agree on that. They should tax churches. They're businesses.
I'm about to have the cruise here. But
I was about to wrap it up. We've been going for a while, but man, I appreciate it, Bart.
Cool.
But by the way, he owns the only paint company in Little Rock. If you need some painting in the Little Rock area, my man will hook you up. He's also my executive producer and sponsor, my man Bart Shankles. Take care, Bart.
And you can go to my YouTube channel, The Strange Gypsy, little music.
There you go, man.
All right, brother. Had a fun, man.
All right, me too. Thanks for fucking hanging out with me for an hour or so, dude. We'll have to do it again.
All right, brother.
All right, later. But now we wrap that up. Me and Bart went over, but I got ADHD, so I'm always going to be all over the planet. But let me get back, because I want to make sure y'all understood my Kushner conspiracy theory before I get off here, because we only touched a little bit on it, a little bit on hate crimes. The Kushner conspiracy theory. He owns the number of the beast, 666 Fifth Avenue. And it's in big red letters on the side. And if that ain't a sign of somebody connected to the Antichrist or the devil, I don't know what is. So that's my conspiracy theory. Disprove that. And like I said, we're going to find out. I really ain't going to talk about the Russia collusion. We touched on it a little bit. People know how I feel about it. It's not a secret. But that I'm going to hold back. I'm going to bite my tongue until Mike Rogers, former head of the NSA, testifies tomorrow. And the big superstar testimony comes Thursday with James Comey, head of the FBI. And I hope that he speaks on it. And we're going to find out if Trump tried to obstruct justice or if he colluded with the Russians if there's proof. Or if somebody on his inner circle like Jared Kushner. And right now there's so much smoke around Mike Flynn and Jared Kushner, I don't know how Trump would not know. Because seriously, think about it. And for the couple of conservatives that might listen, think about it. If Barack Obama, before he took office, if people in his inner circle, one of them was his son-in-law, just say he had a son-in-law, we're playing make-believe here, went on his own to try to back channel to Russia, who is our enemy, who tried to interfere in our elections and sway the vote, but not only interfere in our elections, no ally does that. You know what I mean? They're our enemy. You know what I'm saying? So he tries to get a back channel to our enemy, and you don't think Barack Obama wouldn't know about that? Just like Trump wouldn't know about that? You think they took it upon themselves and took the initiative to, first of all, to try to create a back channel? Not to mention, it's a back channel to our enemy. What the hell do we need a back channel to Russia for? Obviously, they don't respect us. They you know what I mean? Obviously, they don't respect us. And if no world leader right now of our allies in Europe, major world leader that it's our ally, Canada, Europe, Mexico, Germany, France, England, respect or think Donald Trump's competent. The only person that gives Donald Trump praise and thinks he's competent is our enemy, Vladimir Putin. So what does that tell you? What does that tell you? You know what I mean? That means Putin wants him in office because he knows he's incompetent and that he can run all over him. That's what that tells you. But that's for another show, man. We'll get off here. Me and Bart was all over the place as usual. You know what I mean? Hate crimes are up. People are emboldened by Trump's rhetoric, racist rhetoric, and his coded racist language. And Steve Bannon, who's pushing it, who's the brain behind Trump, who basically probably is the president. And as Joe Scarborough said, and I agree with him, Bannon is basically the president at this point. Jared Kushner, basically another Trump. He was a rich kid. Everything he's got is because of his daddy. He took over his daddy's real estate company just like Trump. You know what I mean? Just like Trump, he made a bad deal on 666 Fifth Avenue, the Satan building, as we'll call it. We'll call it the Devil's Playhouse. He made a bad deal, and now he's $500 million in the hole, and nobody wants to lend him money. So he's basically Trump version 2.0, man. He's a little rich kid who who got a bunch of money from his daddy and took over his daddy's business and is running it in the ground and is about to be bankrupt because of it, just like Donald Trump. So no wonder Donald Trump likes him so much, because he's another Donald Trump, man. That's all he is. Another piss poor con man. You know what I mean? Snake oil salesman, carnival barker. And that's what it comes down to, man. And if y'all think it's going to get any better, I doubt it. And I'll be highly surprised, because Donald Trump's not going to let it get any better. Like my man Bart just said, he's always going to let his ego get in the way. Just like when he's thrown his staff under the bus like 3 or 4 times now, because he can't let them get credit for anything. He couldn't even let them get credit for recommending to fire James Comey, the FBI director. You know, they put out a statement and said the only reason he fired him was because Rod, the Attorney Assistant General, recommended he fired him, and then Trump come out the next day and said, what? I fired him because of Russia. You see what I'm saying? Because Trump can't let nobody get credit except for Trump, man. He's got a personality disorder. And you know, there's people saying he's showing early signs of dementia. And there's been major, and I'm talking about Harvard-educated, Yale-educated, Stanford-educated psychiatrists and psychologists who have broken the Goldwater rule. And the Goldwater rule is that people who are in the psychoanalyst field, you know, psychiatrists, psychologists, would not remark on the mental health of any politician running for any office. But Trump is so over the top, wild and crazy that they, for the first time since that rule's been in place, since Barry Goldwater in 1968, since 1968, since that rule's been in play, no major therapist, psychologist, psychiatrist has ever come out and voiced their opinion pro or against any major politician's state of mental health. But they major, you can go look it up, Google it. We got Google. Call me out on my bullshit. Go Google it. They have said that Trump has a person, which it should be obvious. He's obviously the biggest narcissist that's ever been in the White House, and that's saying something because you got to have a mighty big ego to be president. But has a mental. You can't have an ego that big and not have some type of personality disorder. You know what I mean? And they've come out and said that he has mental issues, and this is the guy y'all picked to run the country, man. And y'all are still backing and twisting yourself in knots over. And I'm going to say y'all, I'm saying conservatives, twisting their knots over because y'all want him to be the Messiah so bad. Y'all want to wish it to be true. But he can, at the end of the day, he's going to be what he's always been. A shit-talking con artist. That's all he's ever been. Why would he ever change? You can't wish into existence that he's going to turn 180, make a 180 turn and become something he's not. At the end of the day, he's a shit-talking, egomaniacal con artist. That's all he's ever been. That's all he's ever going to be. All the wishing and praying in the world is not going to make it any different, man. And on that note, like I say, I was supposed to do this a week ago. I know I'm a week or two behind on this podcast. But, man, it's hard to keep up. I ain't going to lie to you. They drop so many bombshells every day of Trump's incompetence and this Russian deal that I would have to have a paid staff of researchers and producers to keep up with all this, man. So now that whenever there's a break in action, your boy, one and only Byrone, is going to pop in, drop his 2 cents, and pop back out. And right now there's a break in action. But come tomorrow and Thursday, it's going to heat right back up, man. Even though some news dropped earlier, and they're saying right now that there's 5 ongoing Russia investigations right now. 5 different investigations. If there wasn't no smoke, the FBI, the Justice Department, the DOJ would not be investigating. There's got to be something there, man. But I'm gonna bite my tongue, and we're gonna let the facts come out. And like I say, I'm never on time, but I'm never on schedule, but I'm always on time. It's your man, the one and only Byrone, and I'm out of here. Peace in the Middle East, yo.